Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to share with you a personal story. Today, or actually yesterday, is 1 month since my girlfriend decided to end our relationship. We were together already for 2 years, so the story is that this is the first time in my life when a woman decides to end a relationship with me, and it is really, for me, it has been very different. Let's say when I end the relationship, even if of course we had a good relationship with a woman, I somehow feel less sad than this time. So this time has been different. So I can now understand those men whose women decided to end the relationship with them, especially because it seems in my experience that women have, let's say, a more impulsive behavior, and from the point of view of men, it is usually, let's say, a little bit illogical from our point of view why women decide to end the relationship. For example, talking about myself, when I broke up with her, which was, of course, a few times, it usually had to do something with her behavior, and I communicated to her what was the situation, and usually if she was, let's say, unable or unwilling to compromise about something that I consider unacceptable, then I decided to end the relationship, and every time she was coming back, trying to talk about it, trying to reconciliate, and I think it was, she had like a good attitude. She was not a negative person. She is not a negative person. She's a very good woman. But in general, I have to say that I did it whenever I broke up with her, it was for a logical reason, something that you could explain and everyone and anyone will understand. But it was not like that when she decided to break up. And somehow it was sudden and unexpected, especially because every time we broke up in the past, it was only short time. I think the longest time we didn't communicate with each other was probably 10 days, and that was only one time. So this time is the only time that she actually broke up with me, and it's already 1 month. And from my point of view, I think it will, she will never come back. It's my, currently is what I think that will happen. But I think I am a little bit biased. I'm the kind of person who I'm very emotional, so I usually like to give my love openly. And I gave her everything emotionally that I wanted to give, so I was feeling, from this point of view, very happy. But at the same time, I feel like I'm the kind of person who understands that it's better to let go of people for whatever reason when I think it's not longer going to work. But in this case, especially, it is a unique experience for me. It has been very painful. It has been very painful, especially because from the male mentality, I don't see a reason. There is no explanation. There is no logical explanation about why she decided to break up with me. It was not something about my behavior. There was no option. There was no discussion. There was no argument. There was not even a fight. She just said, "Oh, I think we need to break up," and that was all. So this created all kinds of psychological noise inside my head because I knew I didn't do anything wrong, if that makes any sense. I knew I didn't cheat on her or anything like that, But let's say the breakup itself was kind of clean. I just asked her what was the reason for the breakup, what was her justification or something, and she explained it to me, but I didn't consider like a good reason. But also when she started to try to go around it and try to explain it by saying, oh, just because I want to, kind of thing, I decided to leave it there and don't argue. I didn't argue too much, so I told her, okay, so then it's goodbye. But it doesn't matter if I didn't argue with her. I haven't been in communication with her. Uh, but let's say my personality is such that I don't beg women to come back. Number one, because I don't feel the inclination to do it. I know some people do it. So I don't judge anyone. I'm just talking about, let's say, my style, relationship-wise. I never beg anyone to stay. I don't even feel the inclination to call her or say something. Let's talk about it. It doesn't cross my mind, let's say. However, the difference is that it has been very, very painful, like considerably much more painful than every other time we broke up with her. So I attribute this to the fact that it was out of my control this time. It wasn't something that I decided. It was somehow imposed of me, so it was completely let's say, out of my control. And besides, from the point of view of a guy, if something doesn't make sense, stays in your mind and you think about it over and over. So I have had 1 month to think about this, and I tried all kinds of explanations, all kinds of possible scenarios. I even think that one day she will come back and talk about it. But overall, I try to have the attitude of try to not think too much about it. However, I miss her. I miss her terribly. I I decided to not blame her. I decided to not victimize myself, but I also decided to not try to make her like a bad person or a bad woman just because she decided to break up with me. But this doesn't make the pain be any less. Uh, the feeling is very big, and I can understand men who want to come back with their ex. I guess it's a similar situation to what I'm experiencing now. They feel this pain of someone leaving you. You somehow, or I feel somehow. Um, I try to not say that it's my fault or not my fault, but somehow I feel this that there was something I did and I didn't notice. Also, some guys, let's say relationship experts, psychologists, all kinds of personalities on online media, they say that there are always signs and that should pay attention to these signs. I watch some of these, let's say, videos or podcasts that talk about these kind of situations. And I have to be completely honest, there wasn't a reason, there wasn't something inherently wrong about the relationship. There weren't any specific signs that I could say, that I could tell, even, let's say, in hindsight, looking back, because it's usually harder to see them when you are inside the relationship, but when the breakup comes, you can probably go back and say, oh yeah, this should have been a sign. Well, I have had enough time to go over all the events that took place, let's say, before the breakup, and I couldn't find any specific signs that will kind of hint to this. And Especially what I want to say that about my personal situation is that it has been extremely hard, probably more hard than for another person, because I live alone and I don't live in my country. I don't have any friends with whom I can talk to. Is just let's say logistically it's not possible. The friends that I have, they live in a completely different time zone, and the friends that are actually, let's say, within reason, not so far, let's say 2 hours difference that we can talk to, because they didn't approve of our relationship. They just didn't like our relationship for different reasons. They didn't approve. So I don't have the support system of someone that I can talk to. I try to tell this to someone I know. I cannot say this woman is a good friend or someone, is just someone who I thought will be, let's say, sympathetic to my cause. But then I talked to her about it, and she kind of blamed me for it. She said that it was my fault or something like that, that I should have not become involved in this kind of relationship. So this is what I want to say is that makes it even harder, because you have your emotional pain, you have your psychological pain, you have your ups and downs. Everything that I do or everything that I see in my house, even my own clothes, remind me of her. And sometimes I have had very negative feelings. I try to avoid indulging in behavior that is a little bit destructive, like overeating. Of course, I don't drink alcohol, it's my personal choice. But even when sometimes I feel, let's say, the temptation to let's drink a couple beers or something, I don't see the point, because in the past, when I have had, let's say, alcohol in my system, I noticed that you have a higher tendency to have negative feelings, negative emotions, negative thoughts. So I don't need this in my life. I think I already have enough with my own thoughts without adding substances that will create even more hardship for myself. And in my particular circumstances, have been very hard to not have someone to talk to, uh, having someone who can actually listen without judging. So I closed out to everyone. I didn't talk to anyone about it, because I know that nobody will support me. I am before I already probably a few months into the relationship, after I noticed that they were not supporting my relationship with her, I stopped talking to everyone about it. So I know that they will judge me or they will judge her. They will say, I told you so. And for those of you who don't know, hearing from someone that you care about, hearing from someone that you think you respect, that they are your friends, hearing that they say, "Oh, I told you, you should have known. I knew this was going to happen." It it never help. It never helps. Is the worst thing you can say to someone who is in pain, telling him or her, "I told you so," and you see what happened now. You are heartbroken or something. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. And what is the solution for this? From my own experience, I have some psychological training called Gnosis. So we have this Gnostic psychology that I studied for quite a long time. I was a teacher for also for long time, probably more than 10 years. And after my divorce, I stopped teaching. But let's say one of the good things that came after my breakup with my girlfriend is that I decided to start teaching again, because I thought it would be helpful for someone, for more than just one person. So this has been helpful for me, and this process is called ego elimination, and basically it will help you to eliminate the pain that you have, emotional pain, psychological pain, that sometimes can even translate into physical pain, like disease or something. For example, when I got divorced, I even got sick. I had a virus that was in my system, and it was somehow involuntary, of course. It was my subconscious creating these circumstances, a lot of stress, a lot of emotional pain. So after the breakout with my girlfriend, I decided to work on this and get out of this alone, because number one, no one else was going to help me, no one wanted to listen to, and of course I didn't want to have on top of that, I didn't want to have the negative experience of telling someone about my painful experience and they telling me, oh, I told you so. So that's why I decided to work on this, and it has helped tremendously. I have continued to work because, of course, this is a process. It's not something that you just flip a switch and will stop happening. But it's very powerful and it's very effective. And I already published an episode about this before, in one of the episodes that I talk about the Gnosis course. But in the future, I will make more episodes talking about this, because I think it is important. A lot of people experiences negative situations in their lives. So I will make a few episodes to talk about this to help people, and I hope there will be enough interest. And that's all I wanted to say for now. I want to remind you about the opportunity to help me support my work as content creator. In every episode, I include information about different platforms you can use to support me with donations if you want to. And you can also support my work by liking, sharing this episode in social media, and subscribing. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.